Welcome back, True Seeker. It's a Friday night. Most people are out having a good time, not paying attention to the news. And meanwhile, here in the States, our government escalating another war. The breaking news this evening: U.S. hits Iranian linked militia targets in retaliatory strikes. And this is in response to the 3 troops killed at Tower 22. Reminding us that the war in Israel with Gaza popped off right as Yale was turning 322 years old, the very special number to Kabbalah's Tree of Life, made out of 3 pillars with 22 paths, and of course, a special number to Skull and Bones, the secret society at Yale, reminding us that when 9/11 happened, George W. Bush, a member of that secret society, was in power. And it's also a reminder the World Series was underway at the same time this war was beginning, and it was the first time the Diamondbacks were in a World Series since 9/11, and George W. Bush was throwing out the first pitch, and the 119th World Series was ending on his 119th day of his age. As we're going to get to, this escalation in the war comes on the 119th day of the war. But let's look at the number games, as always. So these strikes come on the 33rd day of the year, February 2nd. And again, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words is called Gematria. In Gematria, war games equals 33, like federal, like masonry, like secrecy, like order, like how Washington, D.C. is the Masonic city, the House of the Temple, the Masonic headquarters there. 33 columns on the outside, each 33 feet tall. D.C. is full of numbers. The Pentagon, 5 stories tall, 5 floors above ground, 5-sided, and not far from it is the 555-foot tall Washington Monument. Again, there's a reason for all of these numbers, and as they etch on the Masonic temples, all is numbered, the Pythagoras quote. So think about it. They waited until the 33rd day of the year to respond to the killing of 3 soldiers at Tower 22. And what's today? It's February 2nd, 2-2. So you see how the 3s and the 22s come together. Now, as we often talk about, the number that they pair routinely with 33 is 74. And notice, from Joe Biden's birthday, November 20th to today, is 74 days later. And in Gematria, Masonic, killing, weapon, Gematria, energy, English, occult, they all equate to 74. That list goes on. A classic example of 33 and 74 is in that same cipher, Jesus equals 74, so does cross, so does Messiah, so does gospel, so does parables, but Jesus on the cross at age 33. Out of the 50 states, the only state that sums to 74 using this cipher, which is the most simple, ABC is 1, 2, 3. But out of the 50 states, only one sums to 74 with this cipher, and it's the 33rd state, Oregon. So 33, 74, numbers that come together all the time. Masonic 74, when numerology is applied, Masonry 33. Okay, so there's that piece. And then sitting above the President of the United States is the Pope. And notice, from the day the war began, October 7th, and they called this Israel's 9/11, to today, February 2nd, is the 119th day of the war. Of course, Star of David has the Gematria 119. But from the Pope's birthday, December 17th, to today is 47 days later. And the big way, both Vatican and Francis equal 119. And the small way, with numerology applied, both Vatican and Francis are 47. Airstrikes also 47, and that's what the U.S. did. U.S. did today. They struck 7 different sites between Syria and Iraq. But again, just so perfectly coordinated. 47 days after the Pope's birthday, 119th day of the war. It reminds us that on 9/11, the towers came down on the 74th meridian west. The towers existed for 33 years. Construction began in 1968. They came down in 2001. The third building to fall on 9/11 was Building 7, which was 47 floors tall. Each floor had 47,000 square feet. Just earlier this week, they had Jamal Bowman, the 47-year-old congressman, up apologize for writing conspiracy theories about Building 7 in an old blog in 2014. And just with regards to masonry, the Masons studied the 47th problem of Euclid. The phrase all seeing eye equals 119, which is a Masonic concept. But yeah, I mean, again, it's number games all day, every day. And these rituals bring about real consequences. 9/11 brought about real consequences for a lot of people. Pretty much everyone in the world. A surveillance state was established across the world. People participated from all over the world. People died all across the world. And what we see going on today is just an extension of that. And really what happened on 9/11 was an extension of things that came before it. But this has been it the whole time. And the world needs to wake up to the number games. Again, World War I. Again, Peter Bergen earlier this week said World War III could come out of the killing of the 3 soldiers. But World War I, never forget, it ended on 11/11, November 11th at the 11th hour. All ones. And it did end November 11th, 1918. And Franz Ferdinand, his assassination is what was blamed for that war breaking out. And he was in a car when he was assassinated, and the license plate was 11/11/18. The day the war would end. So earlier today I streamed and I forgot to cover the last topic in that stream. So it's not really related to this, but at the same time, in a way it is, because it also has to do with the cabal and how they operate. Again, Hollywood let us know that they're putting out a movie called Tarot. I began to touch on this in my stream earlier, but I forgot to go through the post. So Hollywood just a few days ago started advertising that a movie's coming out called Tarot, and it's a horror movie, and it's going to release May 10th, 2024. And that date in the majority of the world will be written 10/5. 10/5. And in the tarot deck, Roman numerals are used, and the devil is the 15th card in the tarot deck. So 10 plus 5 for May 10th is 15. But the devil card has the Roman numerals X and V, like 10 and 5, like the date this movie comes out. And notice how devil and Trump have that same gematria, 2529. Trump cards are part of the tarot deck. The devil card is the 15th Trump card in the major arcana. And for the record, tarot is another word that equals 74, like a cult. But anyway, devil and Trump have this 2529 overlap. And remember, Donald Trump will turn 78 years old this year. Like there's 78 tarot cards. And with regards to the devil, another name for the devil is Satan. And the highest degree of the satanic church is MAGA, MAGA, which Trump runs on. And notice, from the release of the movie May 10th to Trump's birthday is 35 days later. And what's on the tarot card, the devil card, is the Baphomet, which is the statue that's used for the Church of Satan. But notice how Satan has that gematria of 10 when you run the alphabetic order forwards and 35 when you run it in reverse. This film releasing on the 10th of the month, 35 days before Trump's birthday. Baphomet also has that gematria at 35. And again, just the hierarchy of the Church of Satan. First level, registered member. Next level, active member. Next level, witch, warlock. Priestess, priest. The magistra or magisters, the 4th degree. And the 5th and final degree is the mega or the magus. And again, just the other week on Jesse Waters, they were reading tarot cards, and they determined that Donald Trump would win the election. So the joke's never ending, but again, numerical ritual from something like what's going on today in Iraq and Syria to what's coming to your neighborhood theater. So anyhow, we'll keep this one short and sweet. Thank you again to everyone who hits the like and the share. And if you're new here, you know, read a few more posts, watch a few more videos. You'll see how often we're talking about these same numbers over and over. And again, in light of everything being synced up with the Pope, we're on a 52-week calendar named after the Pope. The word Pope equals 52, like authority, like government, like Kabbalah, like Gematria, all 52. Very special number, 52 cards in the deck, and it's like a game is being played with us every day. And again, since the 16th century, history's unfolded this way. You can go back throughout history with this knowledge and see that since the century of the Jesuits, the century of the calendar being implemented that we're on, the century of the English alphabet being standardized with 26 letters, this is the way history's been unfolding. All right, Truth Seeker, we'll leave it there. Have a good rest of your evening, and until next time.